من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Today is our official first session in the jurisprudence of fiqh al-tahara was-salah. Tahara was-salah, purification and the salah. Let me go through with you real quick, inshallah, on a few things we mentioned last time, and I will add to them a few things as well, and then we will start with the book that we have, that you can see the title of it over here and why we chose that. Study of fiqh is an important task. It's an important feat for the Muslim, the average Muslim, the lay person. Not only fiqh is for scholars or for sheikhs or for muftis, they have to study it, and whenever I need something I'm just going to go ask someone. No. This is for ijtihad, for the fatwas in issues that it is not on daily basis, but your salah, your tahara, your wudu, your salah, your simple business transactions, your rules of fiqh of families, that is incumbent upon everybody. It is a fard on every Muslim to learn, right? Learn it here. It brings me to the second point. Learning it does not mean that you go deeper in the dalil. Dalil means what is the proof for this, why it is proving that, how the analogy is made, right? Based on what this mas'ala, that's not your job. Unless you are a student of knowledge who's studying this as a professional, right? Then that's okay. Then you will learn. Then there are stages, as we'll mention in a minute. There are stages for the beginner, intermediate, advanced student, and then the faqih or the mujtahid, right? So there are levels for that. But your job as a lay person is to know. Remember this word, is to know what you need to know. What do you need to know? Your tahara, purification. What kind of water is this? This water in the bottle, what is the hukm of it? Right? What is the hukm of this water? Can I drink from it? That's okay. Can I make wudu with it? What if I made wudu with it and the water came down in another container? Can somebody make wudu with that? You see, these are things which is fard on you to know. You don't wait for a scholar to go ask him. There was water and we take things for granted. This is not for you to ask a question when the need comes. Because you might do this over and over and over and you don't know. And you don't know. Wudu, you are making the wudu. The water is dripping from here. And then you wiped on your hair with it. Is this wudu valid or not valid? You see? It's very small issues, because this water is used now. This water is used. So the water which is used by a Muslim in an allowed purification, he used it for wudu and it came down from him, can be used for another person's tahara, yes or no? According to the majority of scholars, no. According to Ahnaf, which is the strong opinion? Yes. You see what I'm trying to say here? So this is what we're going to study. That's what we're going to be doing in this course. Exciting, isn't it? Yeah, inshallah. So this is the whole idea. So it's fard on you to know. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. Seeking of the knowledge is a fard on every Muslim. What kind of knowledge? The knowledge that you have to have. You have to know how to pray. If you forget a rak'ah, a rukn or a wajib, how you do sahu, that's fard on you, because the salah is 5 times a day. You come to a sheikh and say, Sheikh, today we were praying jama'ah and the imam forgot and we don't know if our salah is correct or not. MashaAllah. A line in the masjid and they don't know what happens. It's very important, ya akhwani. Don't take this as being sarcastic or no, astaghfirullah. I'm saying the importance of this. And you learn it one time. Going deeper, this is another issue, as I mentioned. But knowing what you do 5 times a day. If you have money and you buying and selling every day, this is a fard on you now to know the business transactions. If you are married, it is a fard on you to know the ahkam of the tahara, the ahkam of the blood for the women, the ahkam of the children, right? The ahkam of the intercourse, ahkam of this is must on you. You are engaged. There is a proposal. It's a fard on you to know what you can do and what you cannot do. You're going to Hajj. It's a fard on you to know. It's like that. All right. Now, what we are studying, the whole point of studying this, most of us, alhamdulillah, know the tahara and the salah. At least, know basics, right? So the important thing here is to appreciate the differences in our deen. Not to take it as a point of contention, but to take it as a point of appreciation. To respect those ulama over 1400 years, hundreds of thousands of them in each madhab of the four great madhab. Right? So hundreds of thousands of each madhab ulama. All of this cannot be wrong, cannot be astray, cannot be bad people. It's important. If someone contemporary comes, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and say, hadith this, hadith that, and this is the sahih, that's according to his ijtihad. He did not do anything new. He did exactly what those imams did. So what makes him better than a whole school? Also, another point I want to mention, when you are saying I'm a Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali, you are not following only Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Imam Malik and Ahmad ibn Hanbal only, or specifically, relatively for each school, each school respectively. You are not following that one person. You are following a school, a madhab that has usul, fundamentals. Generation after generation, they are refining and modifying and perfecting this madhab, how they think. So if somebody tells you I'm following Hanafi madhab, don't belittle that. And don't tell them you don't know anything. I am a follower of Quran and Sunnah. Hanafi, for 1400 years, they are following something else other Quran and Sunnah. Come on now. Please. All right? Yeah, so if you are following a great scholar, contemporary scholar, fine. And who that great scholar following? Who is he following? He has to be following someone. He has to be following the rules put by those fuqaha they are opposing. You know what I mean? So sometimes people follow, I call this ironical. Some people, they keep calling people fasiq, bad, mubtadi', kafir, all of this kind of thing, right? At the end of the day, what are they using to prove what they do? What they are using? Besides Quran, what are they using? Hadith, right? And who collected that hadith? And who made the science of hadith? And who made the hadith classification da'if al-hadith? Many of the ulama, they did what these guys use to make somebody kafir, fasiq or mubtadi'. Are you with me in this? So they are saying whoever does such and such is a person of bid'ah. And they use a hadith. Well, that hadith was narrated by someone who's doing exactly what you're saying is bid'ah. They collected that hadith for you to use it against someone who's doing the same. You see where the irony comes? Same thing. Someone comes and say, no, fiqh on the madhab is bad to follow a madhab. What do I follow? You? So I would rather follow Ahmad ibn Hanbal then. Safer. Are you claiming that you know more than Abu Hanifa rahimahullah? Nobody can dare to claim that I know better. And if you cannot claim that, why should I follow you then? I should follow an imam who's followed by 100,000 other imams. Safer for me to read. So please don't belittle. Also, I don't want this to be misunderstood, that we are blindly following without any aql. Okay? And I don't want this to be, aql means brain, intelligence. And we are not also making this the deen. Making this the deen. And whoever does other than us is not a good person or not following the deen, because it reached to that level as well. So extreme in both sides are not acceptable, bi'idhnillah. We respect those imams, but we believe about them that their intention was one, to please Allah and His Rasul and guide this Muslim ummah to the sunnah of Al-Habib al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They only differ in the things that can accommodate differences. Remember this sentence. When the difference is accommodated, nobody should object to nobody. Difference accommodated. Khilaf mustasad. This is difference. Also, it is important to study, now we come to this. It's important to study a matn. Remember that, matn, say it. Matn, 3-letter word. Ma, ta, and noon. Mim, ta, and noon. What's called matn? Matn means a text. And always refers to a short text. Matn. Matn means the short text. Sharh means what? Explanation of that text. Remember, because I'm giving you terminology now. You have matn, you have sharh, you have hashiyah. Hashiyah means footnotes, commentary. Like it's a little bit bigger sometimes. So you have matn, very concise, 2 line, 3 line, as you will see, right? Matn. And that matn cannot be done except by a great scholar, someone up there, who has the whole view of the fiqh, and then he concises it, digests it and concises it in a very easy to remember. The whole point of the matn is to be memorized or nearly memorized by a beginner student of knowledge, to remember, right? Then the sharh is important as a next step. All 4 madhahib, they have these books, right? Like al-Ahnaf, for example, al-Quduri, matn al-Quduri is one of the matn, and then it has sharh for it, like Sharh ibn Abdin and others. Like Sharh al-Lubab, I studied that when I was young, those are famous books. Then you have Matn Abi Shuja', for example, for the Shafi'iyya, and it has also other explanation for it. Then you have Mukhtasar Khalil for Malikiyya, and they have many shuruh for it, more than 100 of them. Especially Malikis, they are mashallah expanded. And the people of Morocco, North Africa, they have a style and a school and a certain mutun, and the people of the East means, like in Egypt and other countries, they have their own way. Maliki here and Maliki there, they are different. Like Hanafi in the Indian subcontinent is different from Hanafi in Egypt in the books and the text that they study. But at the end of the day, it's something nice, it's beautiful. When I look at it, it is like kind of amazing how this came into that, right? It's not a joke. Don't take it as a joke. Don't belittle it. Don't take it from a sarcastic perspective. Oh, look at these people, they just imitate. No, look at this production. Okay? How beautiful is that religion that allowed us to differ like this? When you look at this, you go, oh, wow, mashallah. Which religion is like that? And we are all call ourselves Ahlul Sunnah. You see? With all these varieties, we are Ahlul Sunnah. MashaAllah. It's not like we differ and all of that. That's lack of understanding. Then you have Al-Hanabila, like this matn of Al-Umdah. It shows this. Not because of anything except, as I told you, it is the last of the 4. Okay, and we will mention, inshallah, whenever there are differences, we will mention lightly the other madhahib, what they agree and what they disagree. So basically, we are not forcing people to study madhab al-Hanbali and ignoring others. Actually, that's not the intention. The intention is the complete opposite. The intention is the complete opposite. I could have chosen, one Hanafi or one Maliki or one Shafi'i, and they did the same exact thing, right? But as I told you before, the Hanbali school has mostly all the opinions of others, as you will see. And I'll tell you the main opinion in the school of Hanbali is what is mentioned here in that book. It is always the main opinion of Hanbali. But within the Hanbali school, there are opinions agreeing with other schools all the time, but not the main accredited or endorsed opinion. When you say the endorsed opinion, means this is what the school over the generation chosen to become number 1 opinion. Do they have differences within the school? Yes. Shafi'i same, Maliki same, Hanbali same, Hanafi same. Alright? They have an opinion which school adopted as our endorsed opinion. Then all the other opinions allowed. Okay, so that's why you see a Hanbali, they say this is the Mu'tamad. Mu'tamad means the main, and that's one of the books that choose that. Beginner, very beginner person, study that book because it gives you the famous opinion of the school of Hanbali, right? And then if you want more, you go to the next level. Same author, Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi from Bayt al-Maqdis, he's the one who wrote this book. He wrote this book for the beginner, for someone who wants to start from the beginning. Then he write a book, Al-Muqna', that has 2 opinions, famous opinion and the next one to it. Then he has a book called Al-Kafi, means all the opinions of the Hanbali school and why. Then he has the book called Al-Mughni, that all the 4 madhahib, plus the Tabi'een, plus Al-Awza'i, wa Thawri, wa Abu Thawr, wa all of that. This is خلاف العالي, فقه مقارن, comparative fiqh, right? So he's telling us what should we do. When you are still beginner, you start from the beginning. Also, I want to mention that this book is explained by a contemporary scholar, Dr. Hatem Al-Hajj, Hafidhahullah. He lives in New Jersey. He was in Minnesota. He's a PhD in Islamic Sharia, master's PhD in Islamic Sharia, contemporary affairs, and he is a pediatrician also by profession. Okay, so he's a person who's well versed, who's educated here, raised and educated here in this country. Who knows? So in his mind is the contemporary affairs and how people study and how people understand things. So his commentary came to accommodate that. That's another reason why we chose this specific book, and I showed you the book last time. He mentioned few things I wanted to mention. He said, in Islam, all actions, not objects, have rulings. All actions, not objects. And this doesn't have a ruling called the ruling of the desk, right? Or the ruling of the computer. No, the action. How you use this or how you use that, that's action, right? So he said, all those have actions which belong to one of the following 5 categories of legal values. Remember, we have how many categories? 5 categories of legal values. So any action that we do as Muslims will fall under one of those 5. See, it's easy to understand as structure. Mandatory, which is called wajib, mandatory. Preferable, which is called mustahab. Permissible, which is called mubah. Something permissible, not necessarily it's preferable. It's permissible if you do it, but it doesn't mean that it's advised to go ahead and do it, right? It's permissible. Disliked, makruh, doesn't mean it's only makruh, let's go. All right, so I'm just emphasizing on that, because those are technical terminology. Has nothing to do with what technical. Yeah. Makruh, and then you have forbidden, which is haram. So wajib, mustahab, mubah, makruh, and haram. 5. Right? طبعا, according to Hanafi, for example, they will tell you makruh, there is karaha tanzihiyya and karaha tahrimiyya. It is technicalities, right? There is makruh which is closer to mubah and the makruh closer to prohibited. But it is neither prohibited nor what? Permissible. So they have other categories, as I said, to appreciate, not to be confused, okay? Yeah, it's very important. Also, the Shaykh mentioned, he said there are fiqh maxims. There are fiqh maxims. What are the fiqh maxims? He said there are 5 legal maxims that there are many, tens, but those 5 are the most important. From them comes any other maxim. He said maxims that serve as the thread connecting the pearls of fiqh. So usul al-fiqh is like the foundation, right? Furu' means the branches, right? Qawa'id al-fiqhiyya, or the fiqhi maxims, is what makes relationship between that branch and this branch, right? And how you understand. This is the thread that gets the masail together, right? This is the guidelines. Right? I'll give you an example. And he said those maxims, these principles, are frequently used throughout the book that we will study. Al-a'malu bin-niyat. We know the hadith, right? Al-a'malu bin-niyat. And this will go with us through all fiqh. Wudu. Why are you making wudu? You have to have niyyah. Now they differ. Niyyah before, niyyah during, or what? What is the niyyah before? What is it? Those are, but the main guideline is what? Al-a'malu. Yeah. Al-yaqeen la yazulu bil-shak. Al-yaqeen la yazulu bil-shak. Certainty is not negated by doubt. Certainty is not negated by doubt. And this also will go through things. So when you have doubt, for sure there is something that you are certain of. Okay? This is not going to be negated. You're always built on what you are sure. You have doubt. But that doubt came for something, not for the whole thing, right? So yaqeen la yazul bishak. I am sure of this, but I am doubting that. So just deal with what you doubt. Now, third, al-mashaqqa tajlibu al-taysir. Al-mashaqqa tajlibu taysir. Meaning, if hardship occurs, this requires the situation to be easy. See, rule of the thumb. Al-mashaqqa tajlibu al-taysir. So, I was meeting with one of the judges in this area, Conroe, Wales area, and he was asking me, because he's also the coroner, and he's asking me, what should we do Islamically in regards to a body? Autopsy or no autopsy? How long you take, asking that. So I told him, rule of the thumb is breaking the bone of a dead person is like breaking the bone of a live person. You're not supposed to injure or cut or do anything to a dead person like you are not supposed to do it when they are alive. And you need to bury them as fast as possible from the time that they do. That is our default, right? But now there is a necessity or there is hardship. It will bypass the first rule. And you have to do it within as tight as possible, within the minimum possibilities. Don't go extra. Autopsy, you need only to cut a certain part, don't cut the whole body. You see? Delay is needed, don't go overboard with the delay. He understood. I said, we don't discuss details here. Just giving you the main rule. Now understand the importance of قواعد الفقهية? Yeah, very important. Next one, لا ضرر ولا ضرار. No causing harm and no reciprocation of harm. I'm selling something to you, you are buying something from me. Okay? Increasing price is benefit to me, but it's harm for you. Lowering price is benefit for you, but it's harm for me. You get the idea, right? So لا ضرر ولا ضرار, we both meet in the middle. العادة محكمة, customs are given consideration. So if there is a custom of a certain country in the way they dress or the way they do or the way they do the weddings or they do this or that, and there's nothing against the Sharia, fine. Fine. You know how you name the mahar? Some people don't name the mahar, but it is understood that this one will take like that if no mahar is made. خلاص, عادة. You don't go and force something on them and so on. So this is very important. Then the Shaykh said fiqh is usually divided into two large categories. The fiqh of worship, ibadat, and the fiqh of interpersonal dealings and the personal conduct, which is fiqh al-mu'amalat, المعاملات والأدب والأدب الشرعي. فقه المعاملات والأدب الشرعي. يعني the fiqh of interpersonal affairs and personal conduct. That's one section. Fiqh of worship is another section. That's the main two categories, right? But under each category there is fiqh of tahara, fasting, salah. Under salah there is the jum'ah, there is jama'ah, there is nafil, fard. You go subcategories like that, and so on. So this is very important to mention as well. All right. Sometimes you will see symbols. So he used a capital H. I don't think there is a slide for that, but he used the capital H for the Hanafi school. So whenever a mas'ala comes, maybe not this time, but next time and so on, whenever a mas'ala comes, or the matan, what is a matan? The text, right? The concise text. When the matan says something, then when I'm explaining, I said, but the Hanafis are different, right? And the Malikis are different. Capital H means the main Hanafi opinion. Small h means it is an opinion within the Hanafi school, but not the famous one. All right? Now, if I say this is what Hanbalis say, and then put a plus sign, then after it is a capital H. What does that mean? Means the main Hanafi agrees with this, right? Okay, you understand? I'm just giving you that. Then minus. If I put minus, means everybody minus capital H. Means the Hanafi don't agree with that. So you get it, right? So it's like this. Now Maliki, capital M. And the same rules for small h minus and plus applies. S means Shafi'i, capital S. And then A means Ahmad, means Hanbal, right? So Hanafi H, Maliki M, Shafi'i S, and Hanbali A. And capital T means Ibn Taymiyyah. Capital Z means Zahiri, the Zahiriya, right? The Zahiriya. And so on and so forth. So if you have capital H, for example, then you have number 2 after it, means another opinion. That's famous also, right? It is famous. Inshallah, we'll get familiar with that. Then he put an asterisk or something that says is a consensus. Means this mas'ala is consensus. Yeah. No big deal, inshallah. All right, now we get to the matan that we have. As I said, Ibn Qudama is a great scholar of all times. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said, I have not seen anybody enter Dimashq after al-Awza'i more knowledgeable than Ibn Qudama al-Muwaffaq. He said, I have not seen anybody entering Damascus. Ibn Taymiyyah was in Damascus at that time. I have not seen anybody enter Damascus after al-Awza'i from Tabi'in. Awza'i is a great scholar. He had a school, like a school of Abu Hanifa and Malik and all that, Awza'i had. But his school became extinct because there was no followers to put effort in it like the other ones. Ni'mah. Wallahi ni'mah from Allah. Ni'mah from Allah. You find the Shaykh explaining the matan and you find hundreds of thousands of people are taking it. And another Shaykh more knowledgeable explaining the same matan and nobody. Fadl min Allah yani Azza wa Jal. He's successful in some other things, right? So nobody more knowledgeable than. So he's a scholar of all time, respected by all other schools. That's why he made that book. He compared everyone. You see, when they reach to that level, they are working with that realm of, everybody, what they said, right? Ijtihad in the masala. All right, so now we are going to talk about a few things. This is the introduction. He is saying why he did the book, summarized it. Some people asked him to do, a book without differences of opinion within the madhab, right? Madhab means school, right? Madhab or maslak. Some people call it maslak, right? Within the madhab, they asked him to do that. So he responded and he did that one. And he made a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, I made sure that these hadith are from the authentic, so I don't have to say this is narrated by Bukhari, this is narrated by Muslim, so make sure of that. That tells us what adab, what etiquette. You have to explain what you are going to do before you're doing it, right? So he tells you his rules, so you don't judge him later except according to his rules, right? Now the book of purification. Book of purification, we start with it. You see, that's how a matn is. I want you to be familiar with it, right? He will say, خُلِقَ الْمَاءُ طَهُورًا يُطَهِّرُ مِنَ الْأَحْدَاثِ وَالنَّجَاسَاتِ وَلَا تَحْصُلُ الطَّهَارَةُ بِمَائِعٍ غَيْرِهِ. Subhanallah, that one will take in advance sharh about 2 to 3 hours. That line to explain the tahara of the water and all of that. Now the majority of the scholars, ya ikhwani, and I'm going to go light, okay? I'm not going deeper. So please don't intrigue me to go deeper because I know you're going to ask too many questions. So write them down and you can entertain them out of class or after the class, inshallah. But this mukhtasar, sharhun mukhtasar, very abridged explanation. So just one word for one word like that. I don't want to go deeper, right? Majority of the scholars, with the exception of the Hanafi school, they divided the water to 3 types. They said water is called tahur, means it is pure in itself and it can purify other things. And tahir means it is pure in itself but cannot purify something else. And then najis, means it has najasa or it is najasa. So the 3 types. Al-Ahnaf, they said it is tahur, tahir or najis. Tahir or najis. That's it. That's why I told you, Ahnaf says if a water is used or mixed with something has a smell or something like that, you still can use it. But you understand where they're coming from, right? Because they divide, because they have foundation, they have maxims, they are not playing. These guys are not playing. Why, Hanafi is always different, Hanafis don't respect the hadith. Don't say that. Don't say that. يعني الإمام أبو حنيفة رحمه الله ما كان يعظم السنة استغفر الله يعني. What is that? He was not a person respecting the sunnah of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. Can you just imagine it in your head? عجيب والله. يعني his students wouldn't be the ones who are narrating the main book of hadith of Imam Malik if he taught them that. يعني. Don't worry about the sunnah. So Muhammad ibn al-Hasan will go to Medina all the way to learn the hadith from Imam Malik. And what did he learn from his teacher then, right? So that, don't even go there, okay? So the Ahnaf has their classification of water that only 2. And based on that, subhanallah ya akhwani, subhanallah, in the section of purification and cleanliness and purifying the najasat, al-madhab al-Hanafi is the most practical in the 21st century. This dry cleaning issue, have you thought about it? If I tell you some masail now, it will make your head like spin. You putting the water in the clothing in this washer, and it mixes all of them together. What if one of them has najasa on it? And this water has soap in it. It is not clear water only. So if you are not following madhab al-Hanafi, you are in big trouble. You have to wash each piece of clothes alone. I'm just telling you, sisters, yani, what does it mean to have madhab, right? And I can go on this, okay? And we can go on this, but please, I don't want to go there now. But I'm just telling you, this madhab is a ni'mah from Allah Azza wa Jal. Because, someone said you have to clean it with clean, pure water, not used. But what about the rinse cycle and this cycle? Then, khalas ba, all the sisters will keep like all time, yani, mashallah. Right. Yani, don't go there. If someone comes and tells you, my madhab this, my madhab that, all right. Yani, please, just go with it. So he said, the water is created from Allah Azza wa Jal as tahur. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا. Yani Allah Azza wa Jal said, the water comes in its creation as tahur. Rasulullah SAW said about the water of the sea, هُوَ الطَّهُورُ مَاؤُهُ الْحِلُّ مَيْتَةُ. Yani it's tahur. يطهر من الأحداث والنجاسات. Purification has some ritual purification and has some physical one. Hadath, what is a hadath? Hadath means what breaks a person's wudu. But the najas is something physical. There is a najasa on the clothes, there is a najasa there is a najasa on the body, right? But hadath, somebody just came out from the shower clean as mashallah, shampooed and everything and fluffy and nice, okay? Then they break their wudu. They pass some gas or something like that. All right? Something came, or urine dripped out from them or something. Can they pray? So this is not a physical impurity. What is it called? Ritual impurity. Right? Ritual impurity. They can. So tahara is to remove that ritual impurity. And the tahara also is to remove the physical impurity. If you have a najasa, urine or some najasa. You understand that? That's what he means. It is يطهر من الأحداث والنجاسات. يعني يرفع الحدث ويزيل الخبث. It takes away this ritual impurity and it removes and cleans what? The physical impurity. And the tahara, he's saying here, according to this matter, ولا تحصل الطهارة بمائع غيره. مائع means liquid. يعني tahara has to be with water, right? Has to be with water. Now this water changing or not, we'll talk about it in a minute. But it's called water, right? It's called what? Water. So water is created pure and it is purifying. It purifies from ritual impurities. Islam is the religion of purification. The Shaykh says here, purifies the body from filth. It purifies the mind from misconceptions, right? Islam purifies your mind from misconceptions, confusion, and all that is counter to reason. And it purifies the soul from all evil inclinations. All right. There are three types of purification. First type is the purification of the body, cleansing the body from all physical filth. So some najasa comes in the body, you clean that body from that. It's called what? Tahara. So that's a form of tahara. Ritual purification, attaining through certain acts a special state of purity that allows one to perform certain acts of worship. So the issue here is not synonym with cleanliness. Okay? Because you are clean. Coming out from the shower is clean. Yet you did something, you have to do wudu. So it's not an act of cleanliness, here is an act of purification. Same way of talking, no water. What do? Tayammum. You're actually putting dust on your face. You see? So cleanliness is something and purification is another thing. Spiritual purification, cleansing the soul and the mind from the diseases that afflict them, and this is by the dhikr and recitation of the Quran and doing the, purifying your knee and all those. So the three types of purification. The physical one, that you clean a najasa. You know what najasa is, right? Then a ritual one that takes you from a state to another state, not necessarily clean or not clean. And the third one is cleansing of the soul, tahara of the soul. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. They differed. Mutahharun means you have to make wudu, do wudu to touch the Quran, or mutahharun means the angels and the purified souls, right? So it's there. All right. So this is the first part here. So the types of water, according to Islam, according to the Sharia, Quran and Sunnah, the water is divided to four types. One, plain water, which includes the water of the seas. When we say the sea, means what? Salty water, right? The water of the river, fresh water. Rain, snow, hail, and wells, water in the wells. Yeah. All of this, when we talk plain water, those are the sources. Used water, number two, this is used water. That is water used to remove ritual impurity. Somebody made a ghusl, all right? Or did wudu, they dipped themselves in that, they came out, or the water dripped out of their body on a container, right? So this is called used water, assuming it was collected after dripping from someone who was performing ritual ablution. 3, water mixed with pure substances. The water is mixed with what? Pure substances. And you put like bubble bath on it. Bubbles to make a bubble bath. I'm just using contemporary thing, right? Or sidr. Sidr used to be like soap and it smells good. Like some leaves, you put it there and it gives a soapy texture there to the water. So it's a pure substance, but the water is not original water anymore. It changed. The smell changed or like that. The color. Number 4, water mixed with impure substances. Okay. It's very important. That's why I'm focusing on this a little bit. We'll go faster, inshallah, for that. What is pure is not necessarily purifying. For example, tea and ink are considered pure substances. Tea. Now, by consensus, you cannot use them to perform ablution and attain ritual purity. So can you make wudu with tea? The chai is very expensive. You're gonna drink it and enjoy it, but we're just assuming, right? And also, it's not a hypothetical thing. It's not. Like, let's say you have a jug or those one that we boil the water in and all that. So it has water. And then you said, okay, I cannot find the water, apartment water off. No water, right? But I can use this water. And you open it and you find the tea bag in it. You see? So it's not a hypothetical question like many people think. I'm just giving you a valid, practical situation. So what are you going to do? Do tayammum if you don't have wudu, even though there is water and it has a tea bag in it, so you cannot do that. Okay? You got the idea, right? So not everything pure necessarily is purifying. So you cannot use them to perform that. So this applies to substances in general, but what about water? Now water itself. Most scholars divide water into 3 categories, as I told you before. Pure and purifying, pure but not purifying, and impure. Okay? So you have pure, and it has the ability to purify. Number 2, pure, but does not have the ability to use it for ritual impurity. You can drink, you can cook, you can clean a najasa with it, right? But you cannot use it in that. So there's difference. Can you use it for wudu and ghusl or not? Can you clean it for najasa? Yes or no? Can you do this but not that? Yes or no? There are issues here. Okay, so this is the second type. Third, which is impure. Now, some scholars, like Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, capital T here, argues that as long as you call it water, it is either pure and purifying or impure. And he's agreeing with who here? Even Ibn Taymiyyah is what? Hanbali. Ibn Taymiyyah is Hanbali, hardcore Hanbali. Yani. Actually, the opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah is considered one of the endorsed opinions in Hanbali. So they will tell you, this is the opinion of Hanbali, right? And this is the opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah. It's counted as one big one, right? So here Ibn Taymiyyah is opposing what? His own school and agreeing with what? Hanafi school. Because he reached that level of doing that choice. He reached to that level of having his own opinion within his own school that differs from it. Allahu Akbar. By the way, many Hanafis did the same, many Shafi'is did the same, many Malikis did the same. But since we're studying a Hanbali text, this is going to come often, right? So he says, as long as you call it water, is it water? But now I put a tea bag. What is this called? No, what is it called? Faddal what? You want to drink tea. I'm not telling you, do you want this hot water which is red? I'm not going to tell you that. What I'm going to say, tea, coffee. Do you want tea or coffee? And then I give you that different from this. But it's originally water, isn't it? But do you call it water anymore? No, then it is not. That is the opinion of Hanafi and Ibn Taymiyyah, right? But the others said, as long as it is mixed with even a tiny amount, no. Even if you call it, still call it water. Okay? A little bit strict, yani. Each one have their own. So he said that. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah. Okay. All right. So now we come to the next section. What time is it? What time is it now? Oh, so 10 دقايق. We'll go inshallah. So now this section here, it is going to make it complicated. So now it's saying that what is the amount of water that we will say if it is mixed with some impurity, it becomes impure, right? So we have some water here. What is the measurement with which we say that water, even if some problem comes with it, still pure, right? So some they said, 10 arm spans by 10 arm spans and 10 arm spans depth. Any pool have that measurement of water. If a najasa comes in it, still the water is valid, is okay. Anything less than that is not, according to difference among scholars, because some scholars said it doesn't matter. Even, if there is a hadith saying this, it does not negate the fact that with less also same hukum. Meaning, what if it is less than this? And some najasa comes on it. Some scholars said it's the opposite. And if Rasulullah SAW said, if it is that amount, only that amount or more, najasa will not affect. That means less than this amount, najasa will affect, right? Yes? مفهوم المخالفة يعني. This is what we understand. Right? But the other scholars, very strong opinion. They said, not necessarily, ya habibi. Why? Because they said, this concept of opposition is the weakest when there are numbers. When there are numbers. If Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if there is a janazah and 4 people witnessed with iman to that person, he goes to Jannah. He used what number here? 4, huh? Then they said, what do you understand now? Less than 4 will not go to Jannah? Or less than 4 that is not guaranteed? Let's say that. It's not guaranteed. Yeah. The guarantee only happens when there are 4. Correct? But the actual proof is opposite, because the Sahaba said, وَثَلَاثَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. And about 3, he said, وَثَلَاثَ. وَثْنَيْنِ. And 2, he said, وَثْنَيْنِ. And he said, and we were afraid to ask him about the 1, and he says no. So we left it open. You see how smart was the Sahaba? Who left it open? Same, Rasulullah said, who have 3 girls and raised them to be good Muslimah, there will be a sitr wa hijab min al-nar. Okay, and he was quiet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So a person comes and said, how about if you have 2, ya Rasulullah? He said, and 2. Again, they did not ask him about one, but it's understood. If you have one also and raise are good, it can be for you. She can be for you a hijab from hellfire. So here, why I'm saying this doesn't mean that if it is that amount or lesser amount, also depends, right? And this kullatain and all of that, so we'll not talk about it much. All right, now this is important. If something that is pure but not purifying was cooked in the water or mixed with the water and it changed its name, the characteristics, yani, or if it was used in removing a ritual impurity, then it would be stripped of its attribute of being a purifier. And that's according to Hanbali, Shafi'i, and Maliki. The Hanafi don't agree with that. We understand, right? We understand this one. So, water mixed with a pure but not purifying substance. According to Al-Imam Ahmad and Abu Hanifa, Hanafi yani, mixing is like this. So according to Hanafi, it's mixed, but it is not cooked in it. And according to Ahmad, even with cooking, which results only in minor changes in the water's characteristics, does not render it non-purifying. And they give a hadith, Allahu Akbar, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Right? And this hadith is narrated by Imam Ahmad and Ibn Majah and others. أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اغتسل made غسل يعني from ritual impurity, غسل جنابة يعني اغتسل وميمونة, his wife ميمونة رضي الله عنها, من إناء واحد في قصعة, يعني they did the ritual غسل from a container فيها أثر العجين, that had a trace of dough in it. You know, ajeen, they make a dough before they bake the bread, the roti, naan, you know. So that container had some dough in it. And now water is in there. So water has, you know, the dough melts, you know, a little bit in there. So the water is not that clear, crisp water. Yet Rasulullah used it for what? That's why I told you that opinion is strong, right? That opinion is strong. فيها أثر العجين. So the Messenger of Allah SAW and Maymuna, his wife, radiallahu anha, washed themselves from one water container that had a trace of dough in it. And this is hadith sahih. And also Rasulullah SAW, when he was giving instruction, advised the people to use kafur, as well as the dried crushed leaves of the cedar tree, also known as the lut tree, which they used as soap in the post-mortem washing of his daughter Zainab radiallahu anha. When his daughter Zainab died, he told them to wash her body with water. اغسلناها ثلاثا, he said wash her 3 times or 5 times or more than that if you deem fit. إن رأيتن ذلك بماء وسدر وجعلنا في الآخرة كافورا أو شيئا من كافور. يعني wash with water and sidr, that's the water changed here, and make at the last time, kafur means to smell good, right? Camphor. So these are 2 hadith here. And there are other the water used for purification, can it be reused? As I said, the Malikis, opinion in the Shafi'i, opinion in Ahmad, Zahiris and Ibn Taymiyyah share the opinion that used water is pure and purifying. It's pure and purifying. Those are the one. Now, according to Ibn Taymiyyah, water is either impure or it is both pure and purifying. There is no third category of pure but not purifying. So, يعني إن الماء طهور لا ينجسه شيء. Verily, water is pure and purifying, and nothing may render it impure. And this is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. There is a consensus that if the water is altered by impurity, it becomes impure. One word. يعني if there is a najasa comes in the water that altered its quality, يعني the smell or the color or the taste, but there is something najasa in it. يعني according to many, khamr, drink alcohol يعني, is najis. So if it comes in the water, that water you cannot use. So there's that najasa يعني comes in it, means you render it impure. Inshallah, Rabb al-Alameen, and يعني I would love if all of the attendees of this class read this section in the book, because next time, inshallah Rabb al-Alameen, we will talk about the impurity of some animals like dog and pig, especially dog, because this is a contemporary issue. And then we will get to how to use the bathroom, etiquettes of using the bathroom, and wudu, inshallah, we'll cover as well. So next time it's going to be jam-packed with things. Please write your questions, and I will advise that those questions, inshallah, submitted online and will be answered online, so we can use the time efficiently, because now between Maghrib and Isha is a very short time to cover. And this is a small, short course, and we want to get to the Salah section, inshallah. But this you can read, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, and if you want an abridged or a short book to read on your madhab, I can recommend for you, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. I can recommend for you. Now you have to look if it's translated or not, but I'm sure there will be a simple matn, remember that word, a simple matn at your madhab. Right? Matn al-Quduri, or maybe the brothers and sisters in Pakistan and India, they are familiar with a matn that your sheikhs or hafiz will recommend. Please follow that matn, inshallah, in Urdu or in English or in Arabic, the way you like. Okay? If you can memorize it, do it. If you can't memorize it, be familiar with it near memorization. If you are Shafi'i, matn Abi Shuja'. If you are Maliki, Mukhtasar Khalil. And if you are Hanbali, you can take this one, عمدة الفقه, or دليل الطالب الشيخ مرعي, or other books يعني, or زاد المستقنع or so on. So inshallah we will continue with that, but I want to stick with what I promised, that we finish it by the end of April, inshallah. So jazakumullah khairan, and again we're still knocking on the door, right? So next time, inshallah, we are going to promise, inshallah, we're going to do the al-khala', يعني using the bathroom, and doing the wudu بإذن الله تعالى. And inshallah the following one will demonstrate with a video or